Always.
In 2004, my first grade year, it was winter time, and in Colorado, we get a lot of snow up there. And so, one recess period in first grade, I was having a snowball fight with my best friend at the time. And that's obviously not allowed in schools in America or possibly anywhere else in the world. Snowball fights are not allowed. And we were playing and having fun, throwing snowballs and building forts, but then a teacher, Mrs. Huth, came up to us and asked us to stop doing it. But we kept on doing it. So she tried to separate me and my best friend. And I did not like that. So what I did was I took one of my snowballs and threw it at her. And it hit her square in the face. And we continued playing afterwards. But Mrs. Huth walked off, obviously, to tell my teacher what happened. And when I got back to class, my teacher, Mrs. Richardson, she was not impressed with me. And I was brought to the principal's office for a talking to. And my excuse at the time, and this is what's funny about it, my excuse was obviously not accepted, but it was that she had walked into the path of my snowball and that I was actually trying to hit the building. And they obviously did not buy that, but I ended up losing recess the next day as a result. But here's where it gets juicy. The next year it was second grade, and I got word, and during the meeting before school, I got word that Mrs. Huth was going to be my second grade teacher. And so I was a little bit nervous, remembering what happened. And I wouldn't even look her in the eyes on the first day of school. I just went into her class and just didn't look her in the eyes. But eventually she noticed. And even though I didn't mention why, she knew why I was a little bit nervous. And she said to me, "No worries, Doug. We're good. It happened. Let's move on."
That's nice.
It was.
That's good effort.
We still joke to this day about it, by the way, her and me, because it was just something I did that was stupid.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Back in high school, I used to everybody used to listen to rap and hip hop because it's in the suburbs, sort of the area where it's big and all that. I was from the country. I used to take 2 hours or so to get to school or something by taxi and bus and all that. But my parents were very reserved, and I used to have to sneak at home. Like, people used to lend me CDs or whatever, and used to have to sneak them home and listen to them. And sometimes my mum or dad will hear it, and they'll tell me off. And now I love rap and hip hop. I listen to it all the time. A lot of the time with rock and metal and stuff as well. Yeah. But
are they still reserved, or are they a bit more chill?
Yeah, they're pretty easygoing, but they don't like some of the words in the songs and all that. And yeah. There's still. But I think it was my age back then, because I was probably early 2000s, so I was probably early teens. Yeah, so 10 to 15 sort of age, 16. Yeah.
Anybody want to hear a third story of mine?
Yeah.
Always, Doug. Always. They're very educational.
All right. The next story I have is in my junior year of high school. I had a struggle in my junior and senior year. Like, I was struggling academically and emotionally and physically. And there was a funny memory, though, I had from my junior year. I had a teacher from Jamaica named Mr. White. And the thing about him was he was one of those teachers that liked to joke around, and he believed heavily in his students to the point that he would be disappointed if you didn't get a 100% score on your test or whatever. But anyway, the assignment for math class, which was Mr. White's class, our assignment was to come up with a rap based on the topics of math that we studied throughout the year, and we were going to be graded for it. We had to work as a team. Unfortunately, at the time, my sleep cycle was way out of whack. hormonal changes and puberty, it can make you more tired than you normally are sometimes, especially when you wake up early for high school. But anyway, I slept through that part of the course, and I didn't know about the rap until the day that it was supposed to happen. And Mr. White came up to me and was like, "Where's your rap, Doug?" And I was like, "A rap?" And he was like, "Yeah, the one that I had you work on the past few weeks. Where is it?" And I realized that I didn't work on it, and I was like, "It's in my binder right here," and pointed to my binder. And Mr. White, he gave me a look as if to say, "I don't believe you, but fine, I'll just go with it, you know?" But he was like, "Okay, then I'll see you at the front of the class." And when he walked off, I took out my pencil and tried to come up with it at the last second. I was like writing it, trying to come up with lyrics. And Mr. White noticed me and saw what I was trying to do. And so he called me up to the front of the class first to present ours first. And he was hoping that I would have succumbed to the pressure and just admitted that I didn't work on it. But what I did was, instead of doing that, I just went up to the front of the classroom and thought to myself, I'll make this up on the spot.
No.
And so I brought my partners up, and I had them begin like making rap sounds in the background for the beat. And then I made up the rap entirely on the spot for a total of 10 minutes. And as I was doing a fake drum solo in the middle of it, I looked over to Mr. White, and he was just looking at me like, you can see what I was really doing, you know? And it actually entertained everybody, though. The lyrics I came up with were entertaining, and so people were waving their hands around, not knowing what the deal was.
That's awesome.
And then at the end of the rap, when I concluded, I bowed, and everybody gave me a standing ovation and started clapping and cheering. And so I looked over to Mr. White, and I gave him a smug grin, like. And he just looked at and he said to me, "Yeah, sure, whatever, Doug." That's what he said to me. And then he gave me an 80% for the rap, but he took away 20 points for not doing it, for not working during the whole course, you know. So he gave me an 80%.
You should have got bonus points for improvisation.
Right?
No way I could do that.
No one else could have done that.
Yeah.
Bonus points.
That's the result of a creative mind, which is also part of the autism community, you know? Creativity.
It is true.
But it was just funny how he knew what the deal was, even when everybody gave me the standing ovation, you know?
Mhm.
But that's where I
100%.
learned that sometimes you have to just you have to do it as you go along sometimes in life.
You do.
Yeah.